Hey guys, it's just math, y'all. Welcome to this video. We are going to discuss radians and try to figure out where these came from. Here we go. Understanding radians. Radians is a way of measuring or talking about angles. And angles are a fraction of a circle. And if we think about what we know about circles and angles, the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. That's our circumference formula, and if r is 1, then the circumference is 2r. So what that means is all the way around the circle is 2 pi. So the angle from here all the way around the circle would be 2 pi. Halfway around the circle would be pi. And since angles are a fraction of a circle, it's actually easier to make fractions with something like a pi than it is 2 pi, because we'd always have to reduce. So the basis for our fractions will be the semicircle, or pi. So it's going to look like this. It's going to change just a little bit. So here we go. This is pi. This is 0 over here officially, and our angles are going to go like this. Okay, so we're going to make fractions out of this pi. Now we're going to go back to like 2nd grade, 3rd grade fractions. We're going to take this pi and we're going to cut it into 6 equal parts. And we're going to talk about the angles that are formed here. So 6 equal parts. I've already got some of these drawn. Do you see this blue semicircle has been cut into 6 equal parts? These are the fractions. So if we count them, starting from 0 and go to pi in fractions, this would be 1/6 pi. 1/6 pi. This would be 2/6 pi. This would be 3/6. This would be 4/6. This would be 5/6. And this would be 6/6. Well, we know our fractions. We know that some of these can be reduced and we can put them in another form, and it makes a little sense because 6/6 of course is a whole pi, so that's pi. Halfway, 3/6 is half. We know that. And so this would be half pi. Half pi is also known as pi over 2. And 2/6 reduces to 1/3. That becomes more affectionately known as pi over 3. 4 pi over 6 reduces to 2 pi over 3. And 1/6 pi, we can call it 1/6, or we can just call it pi over 6. But these angles are now in radians. These are in radians. These do correspond to degree angles, but they're fractions of a circle. And if we recall our circle in degrees, this was 180 degrees. So pi is equal to 180 degrees. Pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. And halfway would be 90. And so these, if we were to take 180 degrees and divide it into 6 equal parts, it would be 30 degrees each. And that will make sense. This one's 30 degrees, 60 degrees. I've already said 90, 120, and 150 degrees. So there's your angles in both degrees and radians for your sixths. And so 1/6 pi is also known as 30 degrees. And we just count in terms of our little fractions. Let's do a different one. Let's cut into 4 equal parts. So this time we're going to cut into 4 equal parts. And I've got these markings here. Not real straight. I can try a little better. Still not straight, I'm sorry. So anyway, there's pi. This was 0. This would be 1/4 pi. This would be 2/4 pi. 3/4 pi. And this will be 4/4. And again, we know that 4/4 is just a whole pi. erase my little line. And then, of course, we knew this was half. We've already discussed that's the same half pi we had a minute ago. And then this one, 1/4 pi, is also known as pi over 4. And 3/4 pi, of course, we call 3 pi over 4. And again, this is 180 degrees, wrong color. This is 180 degrees, and this is 0 degrees. And so if I did 180 degrees and divided it by 4, I'd have 45. And that's what this is. This is 45 degrees. We already know that's 90. And this is 135. And so those are our radians for our fourths. We had the first one was our sixths. Oh, where'd that one go? Our sixths. These are our sixths, which some of them reduce down to thirds. And now we have our fourths. And we have our halves too. I didn't mention that, but we do. We have our halves and our thirds and our fourths and our sixths. And they all correspond to parts on our circle. So now let's put them all on here. Let's see if we can remember them all. Okay, we started at 0. And then we had 1/6. And this was 2/6. This was 3/6. This was 4/6. This was 5/6. And of course this was pi. Now I'm going to reduce these. This would be pi over 2. This would be pi over 3. And this would be 2 pi over 3. So I got those reduced. Alright, so now let's do our fourths. Change color. This is 1/4. Pi over 4. 2/4. Well, that's the same as this would be 3/4. Okay. And then that would be pi. So there are my angles, my fractions, my sixths, my fourths, and my thirds. And you can look at them. Let's look at them in color. It's a great pattern going on here. The fourth pattern, as you see, there's the fourths. And as we do the thirds, see your fraction cut into thirds. And then we have our sixth, which we had a few minutes ago. Those were fun. And our sixths. You see the sixths. They're all there. The sixths, the thirds, the fourths, even the halves. Even though I didn't do all those. There we go. Now, we're going to want to keep going around our circle. Absolutely want to keep going around our circle. So, we're going to remove this, and we're going to keep going around our circle. We'll do that in the next video. It's just math, y'all. You can do this.